Okay, so I'm pretty sure the whole world knows by now that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet turned out to be complete messes. However, seeing how these two games turned out to not only be the fastest selling Pokemon titles of all time, but also the fastest selling Nintendo games in history, I think it's safe to say that most people out there just find new Pokemon games to be irresistible. Despite the fact that the plan A of boycotting the games altogether failed miserably, some people seem to think that buying a used copy is a viable plan B so that it could experience the games without actually sporting Game Freak, but sorry to say, this isn't gonna actually accomplish anything at all.
Cameron, all one word. Cameron, danger. Oh no, it never fails. He'll take the clues and find the where's and why's and who's. Cameron, all one word. Cameron, danger. Cameron.
Okay, so even though I didn't buy Pokemon Scarlet or Violet, I'm not trying to pretend like I'm some sort of a hero leading the charge of some sort of a movement or anything like that, and if you're having fun with these games, then more power to you. While we're at it, I hope you're having a blast with them. In fact, despite all the unacceptable glitches and graphical shortcomings that people shove in your face if you try to walk off your stoop, I'm sure these games are actually still kind of fun, all things considered. Personally, if the glitches and graphics were the only issues with these games, then I'd have probably picked Violet up and just laughed the whole way through, because I am always saying the graphics mattered less now than ever before. However, despite the fact that pretty much everybody forgot about the missing national decks, I'm still holding out for it, because much like Thunder Gun, I don't leave anybody behind, and that includes Pokemon that date all the way back to the 3rd generation. But I mean, it's not like I'm really butthurt over it or anything, I just have a ridiculous backlog, so if there's a decent reason to skip a game, then I'm not gonna pass it up. But what I won't do, however, is buy a used copy of the game and think I'm having my cake and eating it too, because in this case, it's really not gonna teach Game Freak anything. Like, yeah, I know that used games have definitely hurt the profits of a lot of developers over the years, and probably even bankrupted some of them, but for the fastest selling Nintendo games in history, you're not even gonna make a dent buying a used copy of Pokemon Scarlet or Violet, since the Pokemon company's already well into the profit zone at this point. I mean, if you're buying used copies to help GameStop out so they expedite another stock squeeze, then more power to you, girl. But otherwise, all you're really doing by getting these games used is keeping the aftermarket prices up. And if the aftermarket demand's high enough to where used copies are only a couple bucks cheaper, then the average person is just gonna spend a little bit more to get a used copy without the odor and stains. It's not like the games are struggling and people are trading their copies in droves. They're selling out the ass. Hell, they're probably gonna sell more copies before long than there are used copies currently in circulation. So not only will buying used not even make a dent, but it won't even make a friggin' scratch. Like, I get that it's ridiculous for the biggest gaming franchise in the world to be riddled with so many glitches and have graphics that are equivalent to something you'd see on the 3DS, so I know it's frustrating as hell to feel like there's nothing you can do, but if you're really passionate about making some kind of a difference, even though it's not much at all, then the only thing you can really do is not play these games at all. Again, if you still want to play and dare even say enjoy Pokemon Scarlet or Violet, then I'm happy for you, because even I'm not that passionate about my decision to skip the 2nd generation in a row, but if you buy these games new or used, then you're essentially admitting that they're irresistible, and if that's the case, then you really can't say that you're that upset over the graphics. Don't get me wrong, you're certainly allowed to buy and enjoy a copy, but still have the right to complain about the fact that these games were lazy, or what I think is actually the case, rushed. I'm just saying that you kind of have to let go of the idea that you could still stick it to Game Freak is all. Although I suppose one surefire way to have your cake and eat it too to be to borrow a copy, especially since a lot of people these days actually buy both versions of new Pokemon games, but playing somebody else's second version that they already bought still only barely making a statement, and borrowing someone's only copy after they already got done playing it isn't really doing much better given how successful these games already are at this point, even if they don't sell one more copy. Still though, the fact that Pokemon games don't actually store save files on the cartridges does make borrowing a copy a little better than nothing, but personally, I still think that reaching this hard to delude yourself into thinking you're teaching Game Freak some sort of lesson is really more of a hassle than anything else. Can you imagine how dumb you'd feel calling a friend and being like, hey, can I borrow your copy of Pokemon when you're done with it? Sure, I guess. Is everything okay? Did you fall off the deep end or something? Oh no, I'm just trying to teach a company with the fastest selling Nintendo games of all time that they'd better improve their graphics, even though I still find the games irresistible. Oh, cool? I'll let you borrow my copy when I'm done with it in a few months.
You get it. When I'm done with it.
Again, my reasoning for skipping Pokemon games has nothing to do with trying to teach Game Freak a lesson. I just have other games that I'd rather play if Pokemon isn't giving me what I want is all. I mean, it's no different than how I don't buy the Booker T branded bull milk anymore after they changed the recipe that I really liked. I mean, I'll still buy Booker T, Hard Candy, and Bengay, but I just don't like the new recipe of one product that I used to like is all. Same with Nintendo. I'll still buy most of their games, and hell, I even bought Pokemon Legends because of how different it was, but as far as regular old Pokemon games, meh. I don't really like the new recipe at the moment, but since the sales show that more people seem to like it than ever before, even if fewer people love it, then that's fine. Doesn't bother me at all. I'm just gonna keep chipping away at my backlog in the meantime, but what I won't be doing is desperately looking for loopholes to give Game Freak a little less money just so I can play games that I claim to not like. Anyway, that's all for today, but if you got a kick out of my incoherent, rambling, and disturbing imagery, though, then you should check out this video I made about the history of arrogant video game consoles. But if you'll excuse me, though, I gotta go water my snake. That's not a sexual innuendo. I have a pet snake that needs water to live.